books will make you feel so much better about your life that you would even ever stop reading them once you start making them as part of your routine. Hi guys, for today I would really like to talk about the importance of books, how much value they have and how amazing they can be for our lives. But during 2 years, almost 2 years, I've been working so much, I've been doing so much stuff in my life that I basically was out of my reading routine and I wasn't managing to read books. And because I lost my habit of reading books for some time, I changed it and started just doom scrolling and scrolling through TikTok, through shorts, and of course my attention span got worse and it was very hard for me to pick up a book even though I have been reading so much. But because I stopped doing that, I became this person who just couldn't focus on reading a book, and I found it so frustrating that I just looked at myself and told myself that no, you have to get back to reading. There is no way if you want this to be a part of your life. But because I stopped doing that, I became this person who just couldn't focus on reading a book, and I found it so frustrating that I just looked at myself and told myself that no, you have to get back to reading. There is no way if you want this to be a part of your life. Why I want to talk about books today, because in my channel I really emphasize on being super conscious, being a person who is very conscious about their lives, doesn't live on an autopilot, in an autopilot mode. Doesn't matter even books, but just reading an article, reading something without it being something that is just a 1 minute read, even though it is sometimes with this current mess of social media, it is even hard to focus on a 1 minute article or a text or a caption. But reading huge articles, for example on Substack, or something that is published in a magazine and you can read about it, read a study, that is so important. Books are an amazing way to be conscious, to be a thinker, to think outside of the box and to not become a zombie, sort of. Because what I've noticed is recent 2 years that I've been busy with my work, I've been doing all other stuff, and during my rest I would rather scroll through TikTok, scroll through Twitter, Instagram. I forgot about books, I forgot how amazing and how beneficial they are. I realized that during my day or during my life, I would be more in an autopilot mode, and I would be more lazy to think, I would be more lazy to analyze something, I would be more lazy to listen to my intuition. We are so consumed with these things, with TikTok, with Instagram, with social media, or even things that just give us a quick boost, and we are too lazy to grasp big words, big thoughts, big articles. Then what does this say about ourselves? For example, if we want to interact with the world, we interact with the people, and even with our own decision making in our lives, who are just under the influence of these companies, of the shows that we watch. And because of that, we just become like a zombie and we just walk around without thinking and analyzing. Because it's not a thing that became instantly for me, it happened more gradually. I noticed that I was really lazy to just think about more stuff that was deep or considered more analytical for me, even though I wasn't like that at all. For example, somebody has a specific opinion, or a huge crowd of people have a specific opinion, but I was I kind of became lazy to think why I think differently. I started to think, okay, if they are thinking like that, maybe I can too. Like, I started to be lazy, and I was so scared of that. I told myself, just get back to reading, because that this is a tool, one of the tools, but an important tool for me to get out of this world who just keeps telling you what to think, what to say, what to do, and it's so quick that you don't have the time to think for yourself, and then you become a person who is under that influence. So this is what basically I started to notice about myself. And even though I am a person who of course always entertains thought-provoking things and likes to discuss about things that are confrontational and can be different from other people's opinions, challenge other people's opinions and be challenged also, because of not reading that much and because of just scrolling, I really felt like I was getting dumber, and I was so scared that I just made myself read. I just told myself, you have to read again, because this is a tool. Maybe you can find another way, maybe you can train your brain as an exercise, because there are so many ways to train yourself, train your brain and train your thinking. Maybe you can start watching debates and just stop this debate and start to have a conversation out loud for yourself, to think about new arguments, to come up with new arguments, just to train yourself to think better, to think other way than what society tells you, what that one tweet tells you, what that one viral TikTok video tells you, that, oh, if everybody thinks like this, then I should think like this. No, this can happen with all of us because we want to be part of the crowd. For example, this is the book that I just keep showing, is Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's quite hard for me because there are so many words that are new for me, and it's a hard read, but simultaneously it's such a joy for me to read this book, because it just tells about different tales from different countries, different cultures, and she basically tells you these tales, then starts to tell more in depth what they mean, how they can influence our current nature, for women's nature, and the real meaning, the metaphors they tell, what you can learn from these tales, what these tales teach you. And this is the perfect thing to just get back on it, and you can pick something more simple if you haven't been reading for a while. And this affects outside of the book world that you are in your hour of reading or in half an hour reading. When you finish some part of reading it and leave it alone and go on with your life, you really see the difference. Your brain works differently, you start to be more conscious, more alert. This is like a form of meditation. Many people say that reading is a form of meditation because also you are focusing on the present moment. Social media grabs your energy and tries to suck your soul out of it, because why do after scrolling like 4 hours we feel drained, we feel hopeless, we feel more depressed, but after reading, after doing something more that makes our brains work, makes our brains train, why does that make us feel more lighter? At first maybe we kind of made ourselves to read to start, but after it just goes on, it flows. Reading really makes you feel better and trains your brain. If I continue to not train my brain, I would be less conscious, I would be less in that world that I was mentioning that kind of sucks your energy, and in that parasocial world. Kind of like when they say they want to create this type of meta world where people can work and no, not work, they can just be in the world they want to be without doing anything. Basically they can have a home they want. That's the VR or something. Like in the future they want to be like this. I don't know if it would be like that, but I can see that it is possible. I think it's quite similar. We are kind of having a demo version of it, but with breathing we are training our brains. We are going into the world where we can see all the sentences and just stop and get back to our world and think about how does this align with my own world, with my own worldview. You take something from it. And I'm not saying that social media is all bad, of course not, we all know that it isn't, but doing that too much, especially short form content, really shrinks your brain. It makes you dumber, it makes your memory so much worse. This is what I really wanted to mention with my with this video, because maybe this would be some sign for somebody, because I feel like I was missing something in my life, and that was reading. Maybe something else can be for you, it doesn't matter. The ultimate thing is for us to be conscious in our lives, never be lazy, to never be lazy, to think of thought-provoking ideas, to think outside of what other people think of you, of a specific idea, even though it can be a popular opinion, doesn't matter. That's what's important for us, because if you don't want to be somebody who is controlled, who is under the influence, then you have to be a conscious person, conscious of your strengths, your weaknesses, of your worldview. And if you are not doing anything to prevent becoming more robotic, or if you are not training your brain with this current life, with this current social media, with this current things that are just constantly attacking us, so much information, then it would be much harder for you, and it would be much harder for me. That's why I picked up reading again. Besides reading, I really have been enjoying this book, and I just started it. And it's not about reading something like story, it's a book for exercises that you can do for your brain to train your memory. And one of them is basically you are visualizing an orange, you are visualizing how you peel off that orange, and before that you have to basically imagine how that orange looks like, color, the texture, every single detail. Then you really visualize how you are peeling the orange and the sound it makes and how it would end up looking after it's peeled. That's basically one of the ways. I also think that it's important to train your brain. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please tell me your opinions about it. I love reading it. And if you have any book recommendations, please tell me. I would love to read it. See you in the next video. Bye.